Good afternoon. My name is Vanessa, and I will be your conference operator today. At this time, I would like to welcome everyone to the Go Building Capacity Through Technology conference call. All lines have been placed on mute to prevent any background noise. After the speaker's remarks, there will be a question and answer session. If you want to ask a question during this time, simply press star, then the number 1 on your telephone keypad. If you to withdraw your question, press the pound key. Thank you. I will now like to turn the call over to Ms. Suzanne Knisner. Please go ahead, ma'am.
Thank you, Vanessa. Hi, everybody, and welcome to today's Social Media Monday, Google Building Capacity Through Technology. So glad that you are with us today. My name is Suzanne Knisner. I'm the Project and Corporate Coordinator for Camping Consultation, and I will be running the tech end of today's presentation. Before we get started with the content, I just want to go over through a few details. If you were to lose your internet or phone connection, please simply call or log back in as you did originally, and you will automatically be re-entered into the presentation and pick up where you left off. Also notice the chat feature to your right-hand side. You can certainly ask any questions that come up along the way. We will be monitoring that and answering questions throughout the presentation. So that today's presentation is being recorded and will be available afterwards, and that all links during the presentation will be available at the end. This part of the presentation to Michelle Bond, Project Manager for Camping Consultation, who will introduce today's presenters.
Thank you so much, Suzanne, and welcome everyone. We're very happy to have you with us today. I'm presenting this afternoon Elizabeth Hughes, who's the Alumni and Outreach Support Specialist at the Corporation for National and Community Service, and our Social Media Specialist, Danielle Ricks, here at Camping Consultation. So I'd just like to invite Liz to open us up and welcome everybody to get us started.
Great, Michelle. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for taking time out of your busy day to join us. These calls are fun and hopefully helpful. So we appreciate you joining us on the first Monday of every other month. And we are lucky to have this fabulous team be our guests this call. These are HandsOn Tech VISTAs, which is a project in partnership with Google. There are 23 of these AmeriCorps VISTAs across the country in 7 cities, and this is the Pittsburgh team. So we've got Julie, who is a Pittsburgh native, and Ben, who was working at the Apple Store prior to joining VISTA, so he's got the tech expertise background, and Blake relocated from Denver to Pittsburgh. So our fabulous team, and I look forward to hearing your presentation, as I'm sure everyone else does. And any other HandsOn Tech VISTAs that are on this call, please don't be shy to make yourselves known either through the chat or during the Q&A. So thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Liz. And we're really excited to have our guests with us today. So I hope to also learn a lot more about that program from you all. Just briefly, the Social Media Monday webshop series, as was mentioned, is offered every other month on the first month. And the purpose of these sessions is really showing VISTAs and communities new technologies and platforms in the realm of social media to really take it a step further and provide you with some real case studies and expertise from people who have used these platforms in their service, so that you can take the skills that you might gain and use them directly to accomplish your VAD and create change in your communities. So whenever possible, we do have alumni or serving members to share their experiences with us, and so that's what we hope to get out of today. And with that, I will head over to Danielle to get us started on our agenda.
Thanks, Michelle. Thanks, everyone, for joining us on the call. Today's agenda, we're going to do an overview of the Google suites of products. There are many of them, so we're just going to touch on a few. But in particular, we're going to do an overview of Google for nonprofits and how nonprofits can use these suite of products in in your day, and we'll do an overview of those specifically for you all and for the nonprofits, and then we're going to have a case study with our HandsOn Tech Pittsburgh folks, and it's a great case study. I think you're going to enjoy it. It's a lot of information to share about the type of products that Google has, and sometimes your head can explode with all that information as you try to figure out how to use it. And so we're hoping that with this case study, we'll be able to walk you through just how you can apply it to your day-to-day. So I'm going to turn it back over to Michelle, who's going to tell you a little bit about a poll that you should be seeing right now.
Thanks. If you would just briefly in the bottom right-hand portion of your screen, just take a couple seconds to give us your first response. We always like to know where everyone is at on the call, and we have a range of people with us today, so please just feel free to do that, and we'll come back to that in just a moment or two.
So while you take time to fill out the poll, we wanted to talk a little bit about the overview of products from Google, and there are many. There's YouTube, there's Gmail, there's Blogger, there's Picasa, there's Google Reader, there's Google Talk, Google Voice, Picasa, Analytics, Google Websites. There's a lot that's available to people who want to use the Google products. We are going to touch on many of them today that are specific for nonprofits. We are not going to get to the Google Plus section today. It was so much information, we didn't want to take anything away from the hands-on tech people, and we wanted to know we had enough time and got that out there. So we may do that later on in another webshop, but we wanted to let you know that we wanted to really focus on the products that are going to be available for nonprofits and specific. So I think the poll is just about done. We've got a couple of seconds there. If you have not done the poll, please go ahead and look. There are just a few questions that we want to figure out where we are with the people on the call. And the reason why we do that is we think in advance about who we think is going to be on the call and how we're going to plan our webshops, but we also want to find out specifically for you which direction we should go and whether or not we should spend more in one section or not. And all ready for the poll results? We're ready for the poll results. Okay, and Suzanne will let us know where we are.
It looks like the majority of you are using Google products, 44%, and you're using 1 to 2 of them, which is great. Hopefully you'll learn a new feature today. You are almost all VISTA members, which is wonderful, and a couple of members and volunteers, and let's see, 61% managed website, blog, or social networking site, and 70% team or content sharing.
That's great. Thank you, Suzanne. So we're really happy to have so many VISTAs on the call with us, and to know that you're also managing websites. We will then spend quite a time on analytics, and I think you'll find that very interesting for you all, and that you're working as a team. And we have some building and team efforts that we can show you there. So what I'm going to look at right now, excuse me, I'm losing my voice, is a quick video. And I'll share my desktop as soon as I get the rights. And this video is about Google for Nonprofits. The link will be provided in the final slides, and we can also put that in the chat if you like. But an overview, if you will, of Google products for nonprofits and how you can use it. And I think they kind of say it better than we ever could. So of the volume as we get ready to go. Can everybody see it? Almost. It's loading. Yes? No.
Organizations, including many nonprofits, use Google to save time and money. Google is a suite of web-based tools that makes collaboration easy. From email and calendar to documents and spreadsheets, these tools are designed to help you improve productivity and minimize IT hassles. Gmail is Google's email service that allows you to use your organization's domain name in your email addresses. With just one click, interact with your colleagues across the world via text, voice, or video using the built-in chat. Email is customizable to fit the look and feel of your organization. Integrate Calendar is another way to help your organization manage time effectively. It's easy to see and manage others' schedules. You can invite colleagues to meetings and events and keep track of RSVPs. Google Docs is a great way to improve operational efficiency by creating, sharing, and collaborating on documents online in real time. Shared documents can be restricted to certain users and levels of access. Regardless of their location, users can work on and comment on the same document without having to email attachments back and forth. And with the revision history feature, you can view all changes made to a document by each collaborator. Google Forms makes it quick and easy to collect data from colleagues, donors, and members. In a few clicks, your form is created and ready to send out. After that, responses are automatically added to a spreadsheet that you control. Google Sites is the ideal place to tie together everything you've accomplished in Calendar, Docs, and Forms. Create your own free website that can act as a central hub for everything that your organization shares. You can also add YouTube videos, photo slideshows, and more. Here's a few more resources to check out. Google Fusion Tables to manage and visualize your data immediately, Google Maps for collaborative mapping of projects across your organization, Open Data Kit to collect data out in the field, and Google Analytics to measure the impact of your website. To get started, apply for Google for Nonprofits today.
Okay. An overview of some of the things that you can do with Google for Nonprofits and the suite of products that we have. And there's a list here of some of the things that are offered specifically for nonprofits, and you can see the list goes on and on and on. It's sort of endless, and again, I know it's a lot of information, but our Hands-on Tech team is going to break it down and make it digestible for you all. And so up next then is Julie. You're going to give us an overview on how nonprofits can use Google.
Yeah. So I want to give a brief overview of the Google for Nonprofits offerings available to nonprofits right now. Screenshot actually in the background of this slide is the google.com/nonprofits website, where you'll get a lot of the information about the offerings and also the grants program if your organization decides to go the Google route. So Google for Nonprofits covers a lot of tools that are especially beneficial to the small and the medium-sized organizations. Things I wanted to mention is a free version of Google Apps for Gmail that allow a nonprofit to operate under its own domain. Also in the offerings is the YouTube for Nonprofits program with the added features like transparent ways for donations on your videos. The feature is easy enrollment into the grants program. We actually housed under Google for Nonprofits. Organizations approved through the grants program are given free AdWords advertising monies. When you do a search query, as we've all done before within google.com, you'll notice that on the right-hand side of the page, some small ads appear. And this is ad space that's free for nonprofits to post small advertisements directing people to the site or to their campaign that they're hosting, a number of things. If you want to apply for the Google for Nonprofits program, you'll need to be a registered 501c3 organization, one that doesn't have a strong religious or political affiliation, and the application process is actually an easy single sign-up, and that covers Google Apps, the AdWords advertising, and also the custom YouTube branded channel. And then one final thing, all of this is free for nonprofits.
And so before we move on, we're going to start, Hands-on Tech team is going to dive into some specific products for you all. And we'll take a look at a video on how to use YouTube. But before we get there, I wondered if you or Blake or Ben would like to tell us a little bit about the Hands-on Tech Pittsburgh and what you all do and how you interact with nonprofits.
Sure. We're a team of VISTAs in Pittsburgh, and our sort of primary mission, this is Ben, by the way, I'm sorry. Sort of our primary mission is to work with nonprofits in the city of Pittsburgh, particularly that have a strong anti-poverty focus. And we're going in and seeing what sort of technology needs they have and doing tech assistance for them, and then recruiting volunteers to help them with those needs. So from web design to social media and database development.
And Ben, a look first at the YouTube channel and how nonprofits can use. Tell me a little bit about YouTube. Either of the three of you, talk to me a little bit before we watch this video. Just a little bit about YouTube and how you've seen nonprofits use them.
Blake, and I'm one of the other volunteers. Yeah, YouTube, as Julie said, you can have a customized branded channel, and also with that, customized banners. Also have you can have donations like embedded in your videos, and these are called call to action overlays. A donate button close to your video that's connected to a Google checkout. There's good analytics. You can see where you're viewing your video from, and where it's blog traffic or whatnot. You also have the ability to select which video is featured, and you can upload videos more than 15 minutes long. And there's some good fun things like do-gooder nonprofit video awards. So if it gets 10,000 views, you get a $2,500 grant. And also there's other contests on like make my take on peace video contest. Sorry about that. And also there's live video editing on YouTube. So you get things like stabilizing of footage, effects, and music. You can upload video up on mobile phones, webcams, or flip cams, and organizations give them out. So it's pretty easy to do that.
Great. We're going to just watch a little video from YouTube that explains in length what you just explained to us. You did a great job. Thank you very much. And so here we go.
Organization have a compelling story to tell?
Well, it would help if I would share my desktop then, wouldn't it?
Want to connect your supporters, volunteers?
Oh. Here we go.
A compelling story to tell? Do you connect with your supporters, volunteers, and donors, but don't have the funds to launch expensive outreach campaigns? YouTube nonprofit program can help.
If I could give a piece of advice, it would be sign up for the YouTube nonprofit program. If I could give another piece of advice, it would just be to capture the story of your organization and use video to tell it, because video is the most powerful medium by far.
The nonprofit program helps you use YouTube as a powerful fundraising tool for your organization.
In one weekend, we managed to raise enough to feed 500,000 children at school for one day. Thousands of comments.
And tell stories that haven't been told.
Because you guys, the YouTube community, started sharing these videos, there's been housing programs started and feeding programs started. Literally, homeless people that were sleeping outside slept inside last night because of you guys.
Over 10,000 nonprofits are already using YouTube's premium tools for nonprofits. Your organization can too. Learn more and apply at www.youtube.com/nonprofits.
So, a little of what you can do with YouTube for nonprofits. Now, we are going to turn it over to Julie and the gang, and Blake and Ben, and they're going to walk us through some Google apps. And I'm going to give right to Julie. Here we go. Julie? Yeah. You have rights, and you should be able to share your desktop.
Perfect. So Google Apps allows the user, to aggregate all of their data in a convenient place. A lot of you are probably familiar with Gmail. Maybe you have personal accounts or even professional accounts. That's the host that your organization already uses. I use Google Apps at my job every day, and it includes things like my email, calendar, search, and docs. So our HandsOn Tech website was built within Google Sites. It provides a lot of simple templates, very easy to use and manage if that's something you decide to do. So I'd like to give you an example. I want to show you how I add an event to my calendar with the quick add feature. All right, so it's right over here next to create, and I'm going to say that I have meeting with February 3rd at 10 a.m. And that will have, if I go back to last week, let's try one more time. Meeting with Ben on 2-9. Okay, so it showed up on my schedule. So easy. Google is able to translate my quick phrase into an actual calendar event. Okay, so I'll open a shared doc that I'm sharing with my coworker, Blake. And something that's cool with docs is that you can edit in real time with your coworkers. So the green little square up here, that represents B. Annenberg, which is Blake Annenberg. And I can see everywhere there's green is where he is typing. So if Blake were to add something to this document, I can see exactly where he's typing at the real time. And then also with Gmail, it's run under the Google name, so it's probably not surprising that there's a search feature. So for example, if I wanted to find an old email from Danielle Ricks, you would start typing her name. All of these emails are the most recent ones from Danielle, and it pulls up all my recent emails, so anything should not be a problem. All right.
Julie? Okay, do you want to go over analytics first, or do you want, let's do the analytics and then we'll do the video afterwards.
Okay, this is Ben. I'll go ahead and grab the analytics. So
great, thanks, Ben.
Let's see, it's sharing your screen. There it is. Perfect, okay. We use Google Sites for our HandsOn Tech site. One of the things with analytics is that you can actually use this with any website. So you just have to embed a little bit of code, and you can sort of take advantage of all the things within analytics. We use this a lot to track people. We're looking at our site to see where our visitors are coming from and whatnot. So they have a basic look. You can see the site, a little bit of a peek. Last week we sent out an email that we're seeing these sort of peaks and valleys coming in. One we particularly find useful as VISTAs is that we're recruiting volunteers, which I'm sure you are. With the Google Analytics, they have a newer feature called Visitor Flow, and this actually shows you where people go when they get to the site. It's pretty cool, so you see that the majority of people, when they land on the page, a fair bit are on volunteer pages, which is what we want them to do, or go down to either the events or to our mission statement. And we can see we're pretty much split between nonprofit visitors, which we want to apply for the program, volunteers that we need to help them out. So Visitor Flow makes it very easy to see where people are coming from and where they're going on the site. You can also see weird anomalies, like why somebody from China is interested in our program. We have no idea why, but they're on there. So Analytics allows you to do that. There's also another feature, let's see, in the content. And this is called, let's see if I can scroll down here. It's called Analytics. Let's see if it works this time. It lets you on the site itself what people are clicking on. So it's sometimes a little buggy. It's a new feature, but it allows you to see percentage-wise. Hope you can all see that, exactly what people are clicking on. So in percent, it's pretty evenly distributed, which I guess is a good thing. It's not too many people are going necessarily to to the Pittsburgh Kids page, but are more looking at our program itself. And then one other last thing, there are a lot of pieces with analytics, but you can see traffic sources, and this allows you to see where traffic to the page is coming from. Pretty useful when you want to see if your host organization is linking properly, or if most of your traffic is coming from a blog or a newspaper article.
So questions for you guys. We have some pretty advanced people on the call, which is great, but we are going to archive the slides of this. What is analytics? We hear that name thrown around a lot. For people who may not be sure what that is, let's just give a definition of that. And then secondly, all this information is great. What do you do with it? After you get all of this information, do you put it in a report? Does it help you decide what you're going to put on your blog or what you're going to put on your web? How do you use this information? So what, and then how do you use it?
Sure. In general, there's kind of a lot of different companies use. Then it generally means just looking at data, looking at incoming research, and analyzing it to sort of package it and make it useful. So sort of to do that, most of what we use analytics for is just seeing how our website's performing, to see if our newsletter did accurately go out, if we don't see a spike after we send an email, then maybe the link was wrong in the email. It does have to sort of see if partner organizations are referring properly. We've had blogs that posted about our program, and they were actually driving traffic to see if it was a relationship that made us to keep working with. But generally for us, it's a little bit more just seeing if the site's working properly. You can pack data and do some other things with it. And some of our topics can sort of see if people to their page and donating, or if they're hitting the front page and they're not clicking on a link for donate, then they sort of adjust the way the front page looks, because you want traffic to be driven to the appropriate areas.
Great. To add to that, or are we good?
Sure.
All right. So we are going to take rights back. Okay. Seconds. And so the only thing that we wanted to share with you all is then the Google sites. They talked a little bit earlier about building, the team did, about building a Google site. And for those of you who have not done it, we have done an entire Social Media Monday webshop on webshop sites. And so you are more welcome to check out our archives for some back Social Media Monday webshops on that. But just very quickly, I wanted to share my desktop and go ahead and show you a video that sort of describes what is available in Google sites. So, this is in Google sites, and I'm hoping everyone can see my desktop. Here we go.
Sites and wikis simple, and it's free. Publish a new page with just a few clicks. Do in a document. Start typing, and use pictures, videos, or other types of content. Make as you like, and arrange them as you please. Your info is stored securely online in one place. You can make it public or private, and who can edit your site. Start it, and there are no helpful templates. More than a theme, site templates can include site structure, page templates, images, and more. So whether you're for business, school, club, or your family, you spend less time getting set up. Get your sites.google.com.
Short and sweet, right? Now we're going to go and do our case study, Day in the Life. Judy, I am ready for you to get started.
It's easy for us to talk about all of these great Google tools that are out there, but I want to sort of paint you a picture of the day in the life and the practicality about everything that we've mentioned so far. So she starts her day by checking her agenda via her Google Calendar on her iPhone. She sees she has a meeting schedule a local nonprofit in the afternoon. So she's at the office, pulls up a custom Google site, which is tailored to show the upcoming events of the day, volunteer registration forms, docs, and email. She remembers that she wanted to request Blake's permission to include a photo in a Google Doc presentation. So she sends him a quick Google chat message. He replies, "Okay, that's fine. Thanks for asking." So Julie photo in a Google Docs presentation for the upcoming meeting, and she shared the presentation with Blake. Later in the afternoon, a freak blizzard hits the city and disrupts traffic flow. Blake realized all of the volunteers scheduled to work at that day's project will probably not be able to make it. So he goes to his Google Plus account and starts a hangout with the volunteer circle that he previously created. Blake refers to his Google Fusion table map to see which volunteers live in the closest proximity to the project site. Throughout, Blake is able to notify the volunteers living closest to the site that they should continue to not depend on showing up. And then Blake receives a number of missed phone calls to his Google Voice number from the volunteers. The voices are transcribed and sent to his Gmail. He can quickly scan them and determine which individuals will be able to make it to the project. That afternoon, Julie meets with the nonprofit and returns to the office to archive her notes and plans. She does on her coworker's computer that she borrowed since hers was stolen at the local coffee shop the week before. Her work laptop was stolen. Her data remained secure because it was stored completely on the cloud. She can perform her job as an AmeriCorps VISTA, completing daily tasks like checking website's incoming traffic via Google Analytics, sharing documents with her colleagues in Google Docs, and her agenda with Google Calendar. Regardless of what issues may arise during their AmeriCorps VISTA year of service, and Blake feel confident that they can rely on Google Apps to help create sustainability and build capacity in their community.
Great. So that's the day in the life. That's great. And so we wanted to leave some time for some questions and answers. Someone's hand was raised, but I'm wondering if you were able to get your question in the chat. Are there anyone on the call?
To ask a question, press star 1 on your telephone keypad. At this time.
Well, if you think of something along the way, please let us know either in the chat or by pressing star 1, and we'll be sure to answer your question.
And there's an opportunity later on to keep the conversation going on the VISTA campus, and we'll provide that link for you as well.
I have a question.
Okay.
This comes from Wendy. Have you ever had issues with people finding or not finding your Google site?
Over to the HandsOn Tech folks.
Whether or not people are finding it at all, we did that. Pittsburgh Cares, our organization, is pretty well known here, and they've given us some referral links to the point now where I think if you Google HandsOn Tech Pittsburgh, we come up pretty close to the top. But we did that early on, getting posted on a local nonprofit blog actually helped a lot. Usually had a lot of traffic, so sometimes getting the early referrals from other websites, be them blogs or community organizations or local members or something like that, sometimes can help.
We have another question from Amanda. Does Google charge to use their donation checkout?
Contact team?
Oh, that's a good question. Blake's going to answer it. Or, well, they're going to start charging on March 12th, I think. It's actually a point of contention we run into. They were free if you were under the grants program, but they're going to be revoking that. We're still working to get that handled, but I believe their checkout is now similar to PayPal or will be in March.
Clarifying that. Hopefully it will work out to in our benefit. Does anyone else? Oh, good. Another question. What tool did you use to create the A Day in the Life of case study? I like it.
Actually, we used PowerPoint to grab everything and to load them into the PowerPoint presentation. A lot of the images came from Google themselves, and Julie provided some. Julie, you want to let us know where you got your images?
Yeah, some of them are just shots, and we edited them to, put on text in there, make it personalized for Hands-on Tech. The story idea, we hosted a workshop back in November. It was along the same lines of what we're presenting on today, and the Googlers did a day in life, and I simply recreated it and added a few things that pertain more to VISTA work and profits as well.
And you all liked it because it just kind of tied everything together, and you guys did a great team, Hands-on Tech team, for that, and great job, Julie.
Are there any others before we move on? Members can access the chat feature or press *1. Well, we will move forward, but if I see any questions that come up, we'll be sure to answer them.
Great, everyone. And as always, we do want to remind you of a few things to keep in mind regarding social media and your service. First of all, the Hatch Act, as you may be familiar with, which restricts any political activity as a VISTA member. So to remind you that that does apply to your online activities as well as your offline activities. Of course, to be tasteful and appropriate in your online interactions, you are representing VISTA, and so would like to do that in accordance with, the VISTA spirit as well. And of course, to stay safe online, protect yourself and your organization, and just a few tips on doing that. Obviously, to keep your passwords in a secure place and not to share them with anyone, to be selective in setting up your username and email address, and make sure that it reflects what's appropriate for your organization. To ignore users that are unwanted, and also to just be very mindful of your interactions online. And we've provided links to these resources at the bottom of the page as well. I'll notice that we have opened the evaluation, so if you would just take a few moments while we are wrapping up to give your feedback. We really do take a look at and try to improve on each session, so we want to make sure that we've heard your voice in that as well. The thing we'd like to remind you of is campus tours. Campus tours are offered twice a month and available on the VISTA campus. The easiest way to access those is by using the calendar feature that you see there on the bottom left portion of the screenshot. It's offered on different topics, but are designed to give you an overview of the resources and materials available on the VISTA campus. And so we do encourage you to partake in one of those and also share those with others at your site so you can get into the wealth of information that exists on the VISTA campus.
This is a list of the links that were provided during the webshop. If you would like to go back and see some of the videos that we played, or look at some of the links for setting up the webshop, YouTube for nonprofits, Google Grants, and then we also hope that you will visit the HandsOn Tech Pittsburgh's as well. The slide are the VISTA social media useful links. This is where you'll find AmeriCorps VISTA across social media platforms. And so if you're not following us in any of those spaces, we do encourage you to do that. And so those are the links to our various sites.
And always, I thank you for joining us on today's session. We really enjoy having you with us, and to look ahead to April, our next webshop will be on planned events, and so we'll be showcasing different tools such as Meetup or Eventbrite that you can use to really bring your online interactions offline and really benefit from a face-to-face contact with others who are working in your area or at your location. So please join us for that. And again, thank you for your participation today. If you haven't filled out the evaluation, please go ahead and do so. And any other questions, you can always find in the Social Media Monday forum on the VISTA campus, where we can continue the conversation. Thanks.
Good day.
Thanks, everyone.
This concludes today's conference call. You may now disconnect.